Hi there, this is Giovanni here at FrapTools, and I want to work out with those two FALISTRI only today. A few months ago I published a series of videos called FALISTRI Workout, where I briefly went through some noise patches with this very compact setup here. So I thought that it could be nice to have a sort of longer video, or maybe more than one, about these compact setup. I call them workout because they force you to do some very precise patching routines that you might not do otherwise in larger systems. Compact systems really force you to explore in every possible way every single parameter of the modules. I want today's workout to focus on four-quadrant multipliers, and I connected the output of this one straight to my audio interface. So I want to use this generator here as my main audio source, and this one as my main amplitude modulation source to start. So I will set this one to hold mode and this one to loop. Time scale to short, this can be long, and by doing so, by triggering the first envelope, I will hear this one as an oscillator, which is okay. I can choose to automate this one and use it as an LFO. This way I will use the four-quadrant multiplier as a sort of fake VCA. The other way I can use a fake VCA is to change the modulation amount. So for example, if I set this FALISTRI to this generator to LFO and patch the four-quadrant multiplier output, for example, to this input here, I'm gonna use a shorter cable like this. I can choose to define the amount of modulation to send it, but it's a bit too much. Even with finer tunings, and you can also hear the limit of the four-quadrant multiplier when using very wide signals, because even when it is turned off, there is a slightly amount of bleeding, and it's because the four-quadrant multiplier never reaches zero like actual VCA does, because it is also a negative amplifier, so an inverter. You can think of it as a voltage control attenuverter, which is the definition we gave in another video that I will link here and in the description if you want to further dive into that. So my suggestion here is to use the attenuated output, which will minimize this effect, and then patch this one here. Now I will have an offset. And I think that I can use the end of rise gate to trick this envelope, for example, or even to control the four-quadrant multiplier, so that at every half cycle I will have a modulation going on. As you can see, now that I am using a unipolar signal to control another unipolar signal, the four-quadrant multiplier will flash only on one LED, because we are actually using only the positive side of both axes. I might even want to use this gate to force a reset. I need to set the raising stage to its minimum value, because FALISTRI's flip sync will only recall the raising stage, so if the LFO is raising, it won't reset, it will just keep raising. If I want to add more depth to the patch, I can use this. No, this one is actually okay. If I want to give it more breadth, I can patch the end of fall to the dual cascaded frequency divider and thus achieve different divided copies of my gate. I will have longer between periods of pauses and rests. And the cool thing now is that I can invert this signal and, well, not actually invert, I can make it bipolar so that it will invert this modulation. And I think it's gonna sound pretty cool. Let's check it out. So unipolar gate, let's switch it to bipolar. I want to slow it down a bit. And perhaps we're gonna give it more amplitude. Add some offset here. Have you guessed what happened right now? Let's check it again. Now I am switching between 0 to 10 volts to -5 and +5 volts. So now, by setting this gate to bipolar, I am unlocking, so to speak, another quadrant, which is the negative one. So I am inverting this sawtooth LFO. Let's make it even slower so that we can better appreciate the change in motion. You can hear that now it is going down, and now it is going ramping up. So when this is positive, I have a downward ramp, and when it is negative, I have an upward ramp. So I'm using it as an amplifier here and a voltage-controlled attenuverter here, which is very, very cool. I think that we can cap it here for our first workout. Don't forget to keep practicing and to stay hydrated the whole time. See you next time for more patch ideas.